So today, kind of a short intro because, right, we have quite the guest.
We do. And so
tell me a little bit, like that she's your trainer.
She is my personal trainer. She lives in New York. She is Australian. When I first met this woman, I was like, who in the hell is she and how can she be a part of my life?
Yeah.
She is I describe her to all my friends as the crazy Australian. She's like partially my therapist, because she gets an earful every time I see her. She is just so good at giving advice, like when it comes to relationships, dating, sex. So I was like, I gotta bring you on the podcast because you have this crazy, insightful spirit because she's had such a crazy life.
I was going to say, she's had a crazy life. Like, she's been married 3 times, right?
She's been married 3 times.
And she ran a brothel.
She did.
She ran a brothel in Australia.
A legal brothel. Yeah.
Yeah, so she must have crazy sexual stories. I can't wait to talk to her.
Oh, yeah.
But leading to that, we thought we would talk today about... how do we call it again?
Taking charge.
Taking charge. Taking charge in a bedroom and who should take charge in the bedroom.
Just taking charge sexually.
Yeah.
And I don't want to make this personal, but I'm gonna.
Do it. We're here for this.
So one thing that I noticed, Julien, about you and me is that back when we were hooking up, I used to always do the initiating. And I always thought, like, why is it always up to me? Why can't this man take charge and show me that he wants me? Why is it always me making the moves on you?
Well, okay, not always. It
was literally always.
Oh, that's not true. But I will say, I know for a fact that's not true, but I will say that as in general, I tend to let girls take charges more than other guy.
Why?
It fucking turns me on.
When the girl
like
climbs on top of you?
when I am expected to make a move all the time to start and initiate sex, it makes me feel like I'm a perv. It makes me feel like I'm the one who wants this, and I have to convince you right now through foreplay and kissing that you want to have sex with me.
But then I wound up feeling like the perv.
Oh, sure, okay, so maybe I went overboard with it.
I'm older than you, so I felt like I was like this, great. Teacher-student kind of weird dynamic where like I'm the older woman who's like, the older sexual woman who's like taking charge.
But that's the thing, though. Like, a lot of girls don't take charges. A lot of girls don't take charge, and I don't know why. As a guy, the fact that a girl is actively showing that she wants me just get me going.
I feel like once you're comfortable with a guy, then I have no problem taking charge. But at least for like the first few times, I would expect for him to take initiative.
But so you see, that's not why. What's different?
Because I'm inherently insecure, Julien, and I need to feel wanted and I need to feel desired to feed my insecurity.
But it goes both ways. It goes both ways. Not necessarily insecurity, but it goes both ways that you want to feel wanted.
Exactly.
The fact that a girl can take charge and just decide right now I'm going to fuck him is, to me, shows that she's very confident, and it turns me on. So like the best example I could give you is if I'm there's 2 different ways of taking charge. Obviously, there's the girl making a move by kissing and slowly initiating, and then the guy doing starting to be like, okay, we're doing this and that, maybe going on top or whatever. But I have been with a girl who would, and there's not a lot, who would literally just whip my penis out and this is what we're doing, and I encourage every single girl to do that. It is amazing.
To me, it just seems a little hyper masculine. Like,
it's not.
I'm gonna take this D and make it mine. Like, I just kind of feel like this. Is
That's
that not a masculine kind of way to act?
I don't know. Again, maybe all guys are different, but to me, it's like the fact that she makes it hers is hot.
Okay.
The fact that it could be anywhere. Maybe we're watching TV and she decides right now this is what's happening and I don't have a choice in a sense. So it's just like, there's initiation through kissing. It's just a little bit more romantic getting into it, but there's also the straight initiations like pulling your pants down.
Have
and
you
just doing
dated a
that.
lot of European women?
Actually, no, because I left France when I was 18.
Okay.
So most of my starting dating was college Canada, which, it's not necessarily the most like informative in terms of dating. Like everybody's in college, we're all drinking. It's kind of like we're going out and stuff. But I'd say since I've been 23, I've been here, and it's I guess it's been more LA.
Okay. A lot of LA women I find are more aggressive than other parts of the country that I've been to. Yeah.
You know what? I don't feel that, because I feel like a lot of LA girls are so like, well, I have all these men that want me, so you need to work harder for me, in a sense of I have all these men, each one of them is richer than another one.
All these men's.
Yeah, men is already plural. I have all these men, all of them like richer than another one. So if you really want me, you're gonna have to work for it.
You have to stop dating. Like,
I don't date these. No, that's why
stuck
I'm
up
next. But how do you feel about the whole initiation? Don't you feel?
I don't feel like
empowered?
It's a healthy mix. Yeah, sure, I feel empowered, but you can't be every single time, because you
No,
start to
but
feel like,
okay, first
already.
of all,
like
with the amount of how much we hooked up, it's not like we can make a huge average. We didn't hook
I
up
can
like
make a huge
100
average.
times. Okay, so we did not hook up that much either.
If we hooked up like 6 times, then all 6 times I've
no, there's at least 2 for sure where I did something. For sure, because I don't expect you to do things that I wouldn't do either. That's a general rule with my partner. So it's like if I expect you as my partner to initiate, I will also initiate. But you don't strike me as the type to just randomly go to your man and start putting his penis in his mouth.
I don't do that. I don't do that. No.
And that
that's tough for me. That's
man's fantasy.
Truthfully, it's led to some problems.
That
Absolutely, it has
legit male fantasy. This is what we watch on porn. This is what we see, and I feel like it just not necessarily ruins relationship, but it makes such a big difference when you're dating somebody who's open and confident enough to do that as a guy. And just as a guy, like, I know if a girl does that to me, I will be thinking about it all fucking week. I'll be like, whoa, I can't believe I was just chilling and she just did that. It's really, I don't know why girls don't feel like doing this.
Well, it's why they don't feel like they want to take initiative.
Okay, but like, not necessarily you, but like, what prevents you from doing that?
I think it might be a self-confidence thing. It might be how you were raised, because I was always raised like if the guy really wants you, he will chase after you. Like, the guy will pursue you always. And this is what my father even told me. Mm-hmm. He's like, always make them chase you, Jen, because they will. If a man wants you, he will.
But if you want him and he
chase
doesn't,
you.
So my question is that if you're both watching a movie and you want him, but he's not making a movie.
But there's also like a deep-seated fear of rejection.
So,
like,
but you're already dating. So how would you?
Like
world?
I said, if you're dating, it's a different situation, because I have no problem taking initiative when I'm dating somebody. But like those initial stages before the commitment's made and like before you get comfortable with the person. Yeah, to me, it's like a little riskier to make the first move, because I have been rejected before. That to me is like the worst feeling that you can get. Like,
okay,
is making a move on somebody and for them to like back off and feel like you're being too aggressive.
In what world, and I'm genuinely asking, in what world are you scared that if you are with a guy, you pull his pants down, he's gonna reject you? Like,
not in the mood for it. I don't know. What if he's stressed? What if he's had a bad day?
Yeah, if you had a bad day, definitely do that. Pull his pants down and go to work.
That's all the more reason.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Is like, in what I feel like guys. Full
disclosure. I was married once, and there was a moment when I tried to be like the aggressor in the bedroom, and he didn't want any part of it because he had a horrible day that day. And he, how he framed it? He was like, well, do you not understand what I'm going through? Like, is this just like you're like living in a bubble where you can't pick up on the fact that I'm stressed? How do you not feel my stress right now? when I was just trying to make it better. You know, I was trying to like take his brain away from the situation. So, dude, that happens to you once, and I'm telling you,
No, for
like,
sure.
it makes
For
you
sure.
afraid to go after it from that point forward.
So 2 things about this. The first thing is, you know, if I've had a stressful day, sure, I might not be in the mood to have sex, but getting head will always relieve any type of stress and will always make things better. I don't know a single guy who has a stressful day, who isn't in the mood, that if you give head will say no. Because you know what? Nothing is expected of us when you give head. Nothing is expected. All we have to do is just sit back and just fucking like chill. So there is a difference. You know, I don't think you might get once in a while, if it's the wrong time, a guy rejected for sex. A guy might reject you for sex, but head never. I don't think so. I even remember watching Entourage, and at some point there's like this huge argument between Ari Gold and his wife, and they're
And then,
and they're the sex therapist, and he literally bursted out. I was like, but you know, he literally says, how about just me enjoying the silence of her going down on me, and because I had a stressful day, would you thinking that that's not something, you know?
Okay, I get it.
And that also, if you want to have sex and you might not be in the mood, I guarantee you 3 minutes of head, there's a way bigger chance that sex will happen.
Yeah. I mean, listen, you get rejected like that once. It's a pretty brutal thing to
Yeah,
go
but you
through,
got to
especially
get back
when you're
up.
like,
And,
you're putting yourself out there in a big way.
but I mean, I don't, you know, not necessarily TMI, but were you making a move for sex or for head?
For sex.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, if he had indeed a stressful day and you were getting in a mood, you were trying to relax.
So imagine, like, I was trying to have sex with my husband, and he rejects me. You think I'm gonna want to make the move on someone I just met? I don't think so.
No,
or
there's
I'm
making
just
a
now
move.
dating. Yeah.
I mean, yeah. But again, I understand, but I guarantee you in that situation, if you try to have sex and he was like, look, do you understand what's going on? And you says, okay, I got it. And you went to town,
Okay,
I guarantee you that would have been well received.
Okay, so point being, you can never go wrong when you
With
go
head.
down.
I guess
Right?
so. But I mean, yeah. And again, girls and guys are different, and every guy is different.
Yeah.
You know.
But you know, okay, so
and I think that's why with Donna, she's seen so much that I think she'll be able to tell us.
So much. So listen, one thing I appreciate doing a podcast with you is that I get a glimpse inside the male psyche. She might as well just be like a man herself because of her experiences, and this woman has seen a lot. I'll just say that, and I cannot wait to talk to her.
Let's do it. All right.
Okay, Julien, so you probably are wondering why I'm still in my workout clothes.
Yeah.
Well, as it turns out, I just got done working out with my trainer, Donna Sexton, who's here with us right now.
Hello.
Now, Donna is not just my trainer, but she is also, in many ways, my therapist. I'm sure you would probably agree with that.
Everybody's therapist, not just you, Jen. I have a tribe of women that I have to
Yes,
deal
you
with.
sure do. One thing I love about this woman is she's always very like open about sexuality. She's all about encouraging women to enjoy their sex lives and to not put judgment on themselves. And she has lived like 7 lives.
Okay, really? Why? How?
I mean, no joke. Donna, so right now you're in New York. It's pandemic central, so you've been doing Zoom training. So tell me, but you're also single.
Also single, and I'm
Yeah.
a woman of a certain age, which I'm not fearful of. I'm 60, but my ass looks like I'm 20. So in your 60s, sexually you do it a little differently, because if you've got a gift that keeps on giving from behind, that's what you show. Your best side up. Okay, ladies? This is what I try and coach with the girls. If it's not exercise, it's like I'm letting them know that everything they think about what they know about men and sex is a lot of the time not correct. So, as she says, therapist, I have to listen to all these little shits of what's going on, what men aren't doing, what they are. I'm telling they have to look after their men sexually, and they're like, why? And I'm like, because that's what they do. They breathe it. It is something just as important. So if they take out the garbage, you get all excited and get a little warmed up for them. I'm being polite here. I've got a lot of other colourful words, but I won't use
Okay.
them. But we get really excited over the smallest things. Now, if you look after your man's little snake, whatever you want to call it, your little puppet friend, if you look after that, I can't tell you how many times he's going to take out the bloody garbage and anything else you want him to do. He will do it. He will hang
is
from
like the
rafters.
ultimate motivator for a man.
But it's not even a motivator. Women seem to forget that it is a really important thing for a man. You know, they feel nurtured in so many ways. They think about it every 7 seconds. And it doesn't, a lot of women will say, oh, they're dirty, they're creepy. No, they're not. They actually just, it's their way of being nurtured. You do the dishes for us and take the garbage out. We're like, shit, we feel like we've just come all over ourselves, haven't we? When they do that for us.
So how do you explain men getting bored after a certain time with the same woman? Do you think, because do you think a man would get bored even if his partner takes care of his little snake constantly?
I've got to say, it's not just the snake. You can't just look after the snake. Let's give it another bloody name in a minute. We'll work something out. The snake seems a bit like I sound like a dickhead. But at the end of the day, what is also extremely important, which I found, and we'll go back into that of where I got these little lessons earlier on in life, is that if you keep the flavour there, men like to think that you really want to you show your love. And for men, that's how you show your love. Put some lingerie on. Put some stilettos on. When they come home from work, the first 4 minutes, if you rock their boat in the first 4 minutes of them walking in the door with lingerie and stilettos, and it's like, baby, this is yours. Hit it now.
I always feel silly. I always feel stupid and silly doing that shit.
Why?
I don't know. Just because it's just like,
That's more about you, where I get my sexy on. Like, I think this is my temple. I'll touch it anytime I like, and I do it quite a lot in this pandemic. But at the end of the day, don't think about you as much as think about him. He's not thinking you look silly. He's thinking you look really hot, and you've done this for him. The arousement for him is when he's at work and you've sent him a message. He's like, I've got a little surprise for you when you get home. Seriously, now then I sounded like an 80-year-old porno star.
Okay, Mrs. Robinson. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah, I guess it's like we all have our fantasies, and sometimes we feel like our girlfriends or our wife can't fulfill those specific fantasies, and whereas a stranger, a prostitute, porn can, but even as guys, like I'll talk to my with my guy friends, we feel like the sex we have with girls we like is very different than the sex we have with girls we just want to fuck, and ideally you want it to be the same, because we don't do the same things to girls. The one we like, we put her in this box of being like, we're respecting her and we're not going to do that. But deep down, this is why eventually we go somewhere else, I guess, because we have those things inside where like we're going to do
disrespect.
It's like we want to do dirtier things.
Okay.
Yeah.
But if your partner allows you to do dirtier things, then is that the key to longevity?
Well, nobody has to allow you. I mean, if you're wanting to please your partner and you're a sexual being yourself, there's nothing wrong with you getting your rocks off. I love putting on a pair of stilettos. Let's be honest here. In this pandemic, I think I still put them on with some lingerie and had a little party by myself. It doesn't matter, but at the same time, I've always wanted to make sure that I feel, because I saw the reaction. I understood what you're saying, Julien. When you do get a little bit naughty, when you do get a little bit sexy, when you do get a bit raunchy, the lights, the eyes of a man, when you're doing that, and it's like, giving him something, saying, come and get this, and it's like, they're just like, oh shit, this is good.
Yes.
But that can't happen all the time. That has to be like a special occasion, I would imagine, right?
Also, you've got to remember, it can't be a special occasion. It's got to be a lot. It's got to be part of how you.
I agree with that. I remember dating a girl who pretty much let me do whatever I wanted, and I couldn't wait to.
Yeah, but that didn't get old.
No. Sexually, it didn't get old. The feelings weren't there eventually, but sexually, it didn't get old because I was like, I can do this. And she's like, whatever you want to do. And she genuinely enjoyed it, right? There's also a difference when the girl's doing something for the guy and she's not really enjoying or she feels insecure about it. So, like, just like you say, like, if you're putting your stilettos on and you're kind of like, I don't know, we're not going to be into it. But if you own the fuck out of it, then we'll be like, okay, you're running this and I'm ready.
They're going to feel that. If you're sitting there, Jen, and you're sort of like, I don't know, this feels a little, they're going to feel that. And it's like, okay, she's so not into
feel
this.
that awkwardness.
I own it. Have a glass of wine. Get a little high, whatever it takes. Some women need something else to let go of their inhibition. I don't know what the hell happened to me. That didn't happen. I've always had this, like, I buck naked immediately from a very early age. And I would be very proud of myself. And I thank my parents for that, my body image and how I felt. I'm not a supermodel. Look at me, for Christ's sake. It's like, but I believe I am. I believe I'm a really hot woman. And I've always believed it. So I've always carried myself with this real, cheekiness and hotness and a flirt, a really big flirt.
Absolutely.
And guys respond to that, for sure.
Yes, they do, and she's had a lot of success, let me tell you.
I think also the two things of sex you're saying, like having a glass, it's also a lot of times drunk sex is more fun than sober sex. Because both partners just let go. Yes,
and you let go of your inhibitions. I didn't care, always liked an audience. And I never cared and didn't need anything. I didn't need to get drunk. I didn't need to get high. But I do know some girls that need an added,
Yeah, because that's body confidence. That's self-confidence too. Because if you're not confident and you're walking into a situation, there's no way you're going to be comfortable to, like, drop your guard and, like, let them see, that side of you.
So Could you tell us, so you're single right now, but I know Jen mentioned that you have been married. Is there anything out of you being married in the past that you take out in terms of lesson when it comes to relationship? For anybody who's listening, like what based on what you've experienced, what do you think failed and what do you think should have happened? What do you think works?
I would be honest, I am a handful. I'd like to introduce myself. My name's Donna, and I'm a little bit of trouble. So I don't necessarily blame the men. I've been with some really good men and who I still speak to. I don't believe you should love somebody and end up hating them. I still have good relationships with them, but I've always been somebody that I have to have a lot of stimulation. I mean, I've got the energy of 10 men or 10 women, whatever you want to call it. And I've always had that. So it's very hard to keep up with me mentally, physically, and even emotionally. And so if I get a little, okay, we're not fulfilled here. And at the end of the day, I'm just a normal woman. There's things that will annoy me that I think that are very cute when I started. Oh, I love the way when he sleeps and he makes that funny noise with his mouth. Give me a year and I'm sticking a pillow over his bloody head and that's not so cute anymore. And those things you really have to work on. You have to compromise. You have to give. In all fairness to them, I don't do it very well. I'll go in and I would get another bedroom, and then I for the second marriage, we had separate bedrooms, and that's when I would dress up in lingerie and I would go into his room, but I didn't want him sleeping in my bed because he snored or this would annoy me. So I was always looking for a good way of this relationship working. But I believe it was more about me than what is about men. Like knowing Jen and some of the girls I train, they've got far better dispositions than me. They're gorgeous girls. They've got so much more patience and they love their men. I love them, but I don't need them. I don't want. It's nice to, have a man in your life. But I've never needed one. So and I'm not saying that works. Yeah, and I'm not saying that works for everybody because I wish I was a bit more like Jen. We never quite get exactly what we want, But in fairness, things that I was taught mostly was that men have such specific needs that women disregard all the time.
And you're saying they're mostly sexual?
And a lot of them are sexual. You get so much more in the relationship if you're giving out, but if you're giving these little things to them, they communicate with you better.
So like what? Can you give us a few concrete example?
Say with my first husband, You know, I would want him to do some things for me, and he wouldn't. He really wouldn't. What's the word I'm looking for? Infiltrate his head. He wouldn't. He wouldn't absorb it. And
Like what?
say, would you mind? We've got a truck coming. I own bars. I've got a truck coming full of beer. I want you to unload it, but I want you to stack 25 on this side, 25 on that side. And it would just sort of, he was never retaining anything. And one day he told me the truth that he wasn't getting enough.
Wasn't getting enough sex?
Wasn't, not sex as much as attention. And it didn't have to be full on sex, or the attention, and yes, sex as well. But he sort of put it all in, and he said, I just feel like you don't need me. And
is that now? Let me ask you this question, Julien, because I've run into this problem over and over again with men. It's true. It almost does seem like men want to be needed.
Yes.
Do you need to be needed?
I think from my 30 years of not even, I think that men and women want two different things. I think women wants to be loved, and I do believe that men wants to be either wanted or needed.
Yeah.
Right? We don't...
I totally agree with that.
You know, there's something about being wanted. The fact that my girl wants me, to me, means more in a sense, or resonates more with my brain than the fact that she loves me. The fact that she wants me out of everyone is more of a turn on, both sexually but also emotionally.
So if a woman is like self-sufficient, like she has her own apartment, she has her own job, she can pay her own bills, like is that in any way a turn off?
No, because that's being independent is different.
Yes.
Different than being your girl can be independent and still want you.
Okay, so you're talking about maybe emotionally or just in life?
No, just I think generally speaking, like you can want a man while still having your shit together, having your own apartment, making your own money, paying for bills, all that stuff. Doesn't mean you can't want that man. So it means it's either like, you know, making plans with him and choosing him over something else, and also then there's also an actual want sexually. As a man, knowing that your girl wants to fuck you is great, and a lot of times girls don't show it. You know, girls don't initiate sex. They don't show that.
I want to lead into something else here, is where I learnt this lesson of running. This is how I got my first bar. Owned my first bar. It was managing a brothel in Australia.
Yes.
It's legal. For the listeners, don't freak out right now, because it is legal in Australia. And this was a very, very, what you're just talking about, Julien, is where I learnt the lesson of, if I am making love to my man, my husband, my 40,000 lovers, whatever it may be, if I am, one of the best things they like to hear is, oh, baby, I want you. You're the best I've ever had. Baby, this feels so good. I have never had it like this before.
But coming from a hooker, how are you ever going to believe that? Like,
no, they don't care. Even if you...
They just like to hear it in the moment.
They just want to hear it, and they want to feel it. And, you know, it's like the moment I started saying that, because I would watch it on camera with these women, the prostitutes, speaking to their clients, their Johns like this. And this is probably a little much for a few people, but it's on camera. I'm watching grown men and getting this lesson of what gets their rocks off and what they want to hear and what they want to do. We won't go into all the stories because they're very colorful.
But it's super interesting.
Yeah, unbelievable to watch, you know. And one thing women have got to remember, all men are individually different as well. Some may want to hear, you know, oh, baby, you're the best. And others may want to hear, okay, you naughty boy, get in the corner and stand there. And I would I would sort of go, oh, and he's going to do it. It was like watching a soap opera, and I meant to be.
Oh, these are people who you would never think would make these
never.
kinds of requests.
We're talking CEOs, barristers, actors, famous basketball players, you name it. And they would walk in the door, and I had to watch the cameras in case there was trouble. Right.
Yeah.
No, I did, honestly. And because sometimes you have to burst into the room because they get a little bit overzealous, and you have to break up a little bit of a yes. Because men sometimes, if they want something and somebody says no, and they're well, if we're called blue, things, am I allowed to say that?
Blue balls?
Yeah, blue balls.
Yeah.
And if they're ready and they think that they're getting completion and somebody shuts that down, I saw some really, really weird things go on there. And you have to burst and go, buddy, calm down.
To make sure there's no violence. You know what I mean? Like I'm sure
I have never been in a relationship. If they don't give me what I need and what I want, I have just as high a sex drive, if not higher than most men that I've ever been in the company of. And I will never apologise for it. Women can have as much penis, I nearly said D, as they want, and they do not have to feel sorry about it. It's like...
Well, that's hard. That's hard to change. Like, women still nowadays are still thinking that it's not okay.
There's a lot of guilt.
There's a bit of stigma and guilt. And a lot of guys also have no interest in a girl who slept around.
Which is hypocritical, because some of those same guys have slept around themselves.
Yeah, sorry, Jen. They're not man enough to be around me then. I want a man. I don't want somebody who says, oh, my God, you've had lots of penises? Ew. I can't take you home to my mother. Well, I'm not fucking your mother. It's like, so go. It's like, and if you set standards for yourself as a woman that you're okay with who you are, I love her. I'm a bit of a maniac. I'm a little bit of a potty mouth. I'm not perfect. I'm a bit of a pain in the ass. All of the above, though, but I like her a lot. So I deserve everything that I put in place for me to say, this is what Donna needs to nurture this and this and this. But I will give 100%. I am a ride or die for my man. I love hard. But, my God, you've got to love hard back, or I'm just not on board with that. And not enough women set standards, because if they do, they set little fluffy standards. Oh, like, well, I've got to cook, and he likes me to cook for him. Cook your own fucking dinner.
Yeah, but also, like, you have to set the standards early on in a situation. Yeah. Otherwise, you're going to get trampled. If you keep allowing shit to happen to you in a relationship, it's going to get worse and worse, and it's going to get out of your control. And honestly, it's partially your fault because you allowed it to happen.
Yep, that's exactly right. It's like, I've never ever put myself in the position where I've let a man take advantage of me emotionally, physically. They're gone. And I don't know where that came from. I believe it came from my parents, without going too far back. But I got bullied at school. So my parents started this thing of, when I would walk in the door, guys, and they're like, oh my God, the supermodel's home. And I'm like this. Who the fuck are they talking about? I just didn't enter my head that they were talking about me. So they gradually built it up that, tell me I'm not a supermodel and I'm after you, because they made me believe in myself and self-esteem. And girls that don't, and I deal with them all the time and I train them. I mean, Jen sometimes will say some things to me and I've gone, have you lost your mind? Could you look in the mirror? Could I have your head and your body just for a few days? And I'll abuse the crap out of it with as many men as I like. But literally, there are so many beautiful girls that I train, and that would be my number one problem, is that they don't see what I see in them. Yeah. And they're hot women.
Some of the I get that. I mean, one thing that I think has been huge, at least for me or for my friends and myself, it's just the idea of, like, when you're first dating somebody, like, and we've done entire podcasts on this before, like, when it's too early to have sex with somebody, and like how many partners is okay to have. I just think that the standards that women set for themselves are, like, ridiculous. Like, they almost act like they're not human beings and they don't have needs. Mm-hmm.
And that's what happens, like, mostly when everybody does this, I'm behaving in a new relationship, and they're not sort of showing who they are. I have never done that in my whole entire life. Balls to the wall, this is her. Take it or leave it. If I'm not somebody that you think that you can connect with, and you don't like my honesty and my rawness, I don't play games. I'm upfront, and I love being in love. I love to have fun. I don't always wear makeup. Sometimes I'm braless.
And what made you that? Do you think you were just like that since a young age, or was there something that happened in your life where you made a switch? Because, for example, let's say one girl is listening to us and she's not capable of opening up right away and showing who she is, and she thinks she has to behave. How do you think she can change that if she wants to, but she can't because of parental pressure, society pressure, all that stuff? Like, how do you
get over that?
Yeah, how do you get over that? How would you tell this person to get over it?
It's very, very hard. You have to do the work. You have to implement the changes. I deal with this with girls all the time that go to therapists, and they're all going to therapists. They've been going to them for 6 years, and I'm like, well, haven't they implemented some things, sweetie, so you can navigate through these and make some changes? I said, stop paying her and give me a little more money. I'll sit down with you step by step, and I don't want any more money. I do it without the money. I do it on a daily basis with these women, and I'm fine to do that because it really breaks my heart. I listen to them that they go to all these people. They've got all these dysfunctions going on in their life. If I do that, I get judged for this and I've got judged for that. Until women absolutely stop and take care of themselves and take charge of their own well-being, and this is their temple. You know, why are you entrusting it to somebody else to tell you what you like, how you should act? You know, and I don't know that.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the road travel, guys, but that's how I deal with it. Stop entrusting it to other people to give you individual happiness and tell you what you need to nurture your goodness. It's like nobody I wouldn't let anybody tell me.
Well, you also have, sorry to stop you, but there's also a cultural issue in the sense of, like, in some cultures, women are not supposed to do that, and it's so deeply anchored into them. Like, you know, I've heard girls say, no, as a woman, I will never initiate sex. That's not how it's supposed to be. You are the man. You initiate it. And they're fine with that, too. It's not something they're trying to change.
And there's some women, like I trained this beautiful little Muslim girl who's a very good friend to this day. And she had that same problem. And she even nearly got to the point where she committed suicide. She felt like she wanted to not live because her parents were so strict on her. And I know she won't mind me telling this story, but nobody will know who it is. And I adored this kid. And so when she came to New York and she was studying here, and, you know, I don't know how these gorgeous little butterflies like Jen with these beautiful dispositions trip over me, this inappropriate loudmouth Australian woman, but they do. So I get these young women coming in my direction, and it's like, because of who I am, I can't listen to this saying, you know, and they won't let me drink beer, or I can't hold his hand, and they don't want to meet him because he doesn't come from a certain district in Pakistan. I've gone, I mean, I'm not religious. I'm an atheist. But so I'll go, sweetie, I don't even know what to tell you, but I'm going to tell you Donna's truth. None of this is going to matter if you are unhappy, sad, and miserable. Love is love. It can't be. And I said, it doesn't mean you don't love your parents, you don't respect them. But what I'm seeing going on here, this depression, and you're talking about, you know, there's sometimes you think you don't want to live anymore. I'm like, well, that just stops today. I said, I want to meet your boyfriend. And so I met him, and they got together. Now she has a sneaky beer every now and then. Ooh. She's had sex outside of marriage. But I'm not proud of that because, you know, do what you want to do with religion. Be who you want to be. I'm not going to judge you. It's just not my cup of tea.
But no, you're saying if you're unhappy, make the change.
Yes. You have to make the change, no matter what religion, parents, sisters, brothers, girlfriends.
Yeah.
You've only got you to look after you.
I do agree. Yeah. I do agree. You only go around this world once, and, you know, if you're not happy, why even bother? And if you're not happy, then there's nothing. If you're in a marriage and you've been married for X number of years and you have 3 kids together, if you're miserable, you have to get out.
Yeah,
and you can't stay there for the sake of the children or for the sake of, you know, your family or whatever it is, because everyone's going to know that you're a wreck.
So right now, with the life that you've had, and it seems like you've done a lot, and, you know, you're super open-minded, what's your advice for somebody who's mid-20s, 20s, about life, about sex, about relationship? If there's like a quick little, let's say condensed Donna crash course in 2 minutes based on what you've lived. What like anything that you can say about it in the sense of
lots of things I can say, Julien. Brace yourself, buddy.
I'm sure.
One of them would be don't let other people validate you. Validate yourself. And it comes together. And a man does not validate you. It's lovely to have a man, but they don't validate who you are. Relatives don't. Girlfriends don't. I validate Donna. I've always validated her. And it's fabulous to be in love. Don't get for a minute, women out there listening and young women out there. Love is fabulous. It's like an exquisite pain, I say, because it can really hurt. But know that it's survivable. I mean, Jesus, you're looking at, it's like I've had enough men to sink the Titanic. I've survived just fine because I liked her a lot. Okay? So, I'd say this validate yourself. And marriage is just a piece of paper. I've had 3 of them. You tear them up, you get rid of them. That's not what makes a relationship.
It's not what makes a marriage. You're right.
It doesn't make a marriage. It doesn't make a relationship. There's work you've got to put in. There's got to be compromises. And you've got to do the BJs. Just saying, ladies.
Good.
It's a simple formula.
Nice and sloppy too.
Oh my God.
Yeah. There's with the light on. With the light on.
The light on. If most women don't want to do it, get a grapefruit.
That's it.
Also, if guys don't want to go there either, and you know what I mean, like you've talked about this too, like the idea of pleasing yourself, and there's nothing wrong with that, especially during these cold pandemic months.
I actually feel like this might be in a simple way of thinking, but a guy is fairly easy to please. It's easy for a guy to come. Every girl comes in a different way. Every girl is different. Every girl gets triggered differently.
Different, yeah.
And in my experience, girls that are actually comfortable with masturbating are the best at knowing what triggers them, which in the end leads to better sex because they know what they need and they are very vocal. It's like, I need to be in there. Yeah.
I know. That's exactly what we were talking about today when she was training me. Yep.
I said, I have got off some good ones in this apartment in this pandemic that I've been the hallelujah. And it's like, because I've always been happy I have a stock up of my lubricant and I'm not going without it. I'll get through this pandemic just fine with me, myself and I, So.
But also, I know some guys that get threatened though. I've heard stories of guys being like,
don't like bringing the toys into the bedroom
of threatened by the toys, threatened, and feel like, well, why do you feel like you need to masturbate? Do I not please you? You don't want these kind of guys in your life. These are just insecure. You want a guy who I think is like, please bring your toys right now and show me how you do it.
But can I play the advocate for a second?
Yeah.
Because I feel like that is an intimidating thing, bringing a battery-operated tool into the bedroom that can vibrate at a frequency that you cannot and give you more pleasure, potentially, than another person can. So
I don't think it's intimidating at all because as a guy, I'll be like, we're teamwork. You bring it. It's like telling me, go take care of this garden. Here's a fork. But now you're bringing me a fucking full toolbox saying, now go take care of the garden. I'm like, I'll gladly use that to do the job.
But
Julien.
But then I just kind of feel like that's a dangerous game, right? That's a dangerous game. Yes, it is. You know why? Because when you start with that, then if you don't use it, is it going to be as good? Is that your default now? Are you going to have to want to use a toy every time you have sex?
No, because I've never used a toy in my life. I know. Look, it's shock horror.
That's
like we thought she would have had an arsenal of it. It's like she's going to open up these cabinets. They're all going to fall on her head. Never used one in my life. Number one, I like the real thing, and I always have. Substantial, just saying. But at the end of the day, I've never used a toy, and I've had men that still don't even like me pleasuring themselves. It's about the man. He's right. They're not man enough. They get insecure, and they're like, why are you touching yourself? And I'm like, ew. I just don't understand that. To me, it's
actually
not very...
most guys I know love that. Most guys I know love the idea.
Oh, I've had a few. Yeah, and they do. Most guys do. You're right. But I'm saying there are men out there, whether it's a toy or not a toy, that don't like women, doing that.
Yeah, you don't need those men in your life. And honestly, even though if you need a toy, you need a toy. Who cares? Just bring it everywhere.
Yeah.
Like as a guy, who cares? If that's what you need to do it.
Men have lots of toys. I've used so many toys on them. They got more toys than us.
Wait,
that they want you.
I have so many questions.
Sorry. Wrong. Here we go.
So many questions. No, you know what? No. It's fine.
Julien was saying before. Yeah, I won't go too far into it. Remember the audience. We want people to come back.
This is true.
But Julien was saying it before, just like not all women are the same, not all men are the same. They're not always like, ooh, that's just creepy. It's not creepy. They're little things that enhance them. Not everybody's packed the same, and everybody's different. So sometimes they need something a little extra to help them. And whether it's a trick with your hand or your mouth or other little things that you use, if you don't open up to your partner, the male is going to go through. Just like women, so many women don't orgasm, and men go through
sex. They can't. Yeah, a lot of women cannot just through sex.
So exactly. So as a man, I'd rather be included in the process with the toys than excluded, and you doing it on your own after we have sex. So like, because now I know I'm having sex, you're gonna enjoy it, but you're not gonna come. But then when I'm not here, you're gonna take care of it. I'd rather be here for the thing, even if that means we have to use toys.
I mean, that's a tame one, but there's lots of little tame ones that men like that are not necessarily like, oh, this really scary thing to do. But unless we get comfortable as women with sexuality as well, like you were saying earlier, women always feel like, oh, I shouldn't do that, or that's going to make me look cheap, or he won't want to take me home to his mother, or he's going to think I've got too much experience and I've slept with too many men. Well, I've slept with hundreds, okay? I don't care. If you're not man enough to understand that I have a good sexual appetite, just go. Peace be with you.
That's like the biggest thing. That's the biggest thing that I appreciate about Donna is just the idea that like, she embraces women who embrace their sexuality, and there not a lot of women do that. Surprisingly, not a lot of women are able to do that. And it's kind of it is a shame because it's led to a lot of sexual dysfunction in relationships.
Yeah, and a girl being sexual doesn't mean she won't be a good mother. Doesn't mean you can't bring her to your mother as well. Like,
no, we have
there's a saying, right? A lady in the street's a freak in the sheet. We're
like, if human beings are tapestries of different things, like it's okay. I mean, you can be a great mom, but also be a freak. Like it's okay. I don't judge anybody for what they do, in the bedroom. I really don't.
I've heard of a lot of girls. I have never come across that many women that are as freaky as men. They want to put a hat on and tie a scarf around their neck and go like this and then have sex with a woman. They want to put stilettos on a lipstick and then say, call me Chanel, and then they want to wank all over them. I mean, I could go on and on of the things that men really want. Now, they're weirdos, but normal, like the other men that just want to have simple things and feel connected to you sexually is what I was trying to say. Is that's how they love. They love through sexuality with them, and they want you to be like this with them sexually. And they're not dirty if they want to look at porn with you. They're not dirty if they think about sex. They're not dirty if they want to be Jay. It's okay, but it's also okay for us girls to get ours.
Yeah.
Well, great. That was a great way to
put a button on it.
Yeah, to put a button on that.
So do you see why I love this woman? Do you see why?
Yeah. You're extremely fun and very, you're yourself, which is extremely refreshing. Which is awesome. So I appreciate you coming on the podcast and, giving us your point of view and being yourself, honestly, because it was awesome.
Can't go wrong when you're teaching other people to just love themselves.
Yeah, and that's it. Love yourself.
And we'll put your social in case any of the listeners want to reach out to you and get some coaching.
Donna has some great content on Instagram. Tell them what your Instagram handle is, Donna.
The Bossy Aussie.
Yeah.
The Bossy Aussie. All right, we'll tag you.
I mean, there was one. I'm just gonna say there was one. For her birthday. What was it? That this year, last year for your birthday, you went completely topless and you had little cupcakes on your boobies.
Hold on. Sorry, for Julien, as reference, he will understand this. I went Moulin Rouge with tassels. Well, this was fun. It was really good.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me on, guys.
Thanks for being yourself, Donna. Love you.
Thanks for coming in.
Hey, I'm here to help.
So now let's do our little
So-
question of the audience.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now that we all have PTSD from talking to Donna, we're both smarter and shell shocked at the same time, I think. But I love her. So now every
question of the audience.
Yes, every podcast we do a question. So this one
is from Christina
Palmer. Yep.
Christina Palmer.
For Julien, do guys pay attention to or plan their own underwear option for date night? And part 2, do they care what the girl is wearing?
Yes.
What, you guys plan?
Part 2.
You guys don't plan
no,
underwear?
part 2. I don't know. What's the rest of the question? That's it? Okay.
Part 2, do they care what the girl is wearing?
Okay. Does the girl's underwear choices matter to guys to continue to date? Okay. I will say, the guys, I know when, so first of all, I might be the wrong person to ask because I wear those boxers, I don't know
what are you talking? The boxer briefs?
But on their boxer brief, on they long and large?
The long and large ones are the boxers. The
Boxer
boxer briefs
briefs
are the ones that are long, but they're tighter.
Okay, and
the
ones that
banana
go,
hammocks are the ones
no,
that
okay,
are like
so I wear boxer briefs.
Okay.
On a daily.
Standard. That's standard. Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, I guess if I know that I think
if you know you're gonna get action that night, or you highly suspect that something might happen, do you plan your underwear choice accordingly?
I'll wear a nice little Calvin Klein for sure.
Okay, yeah.
But
Make
the
sure
thing
there's
is,
no holes in there.
no
stains.
But that's the whole thing. All my underwear are pretty much like that. So I kind of always wear a good underwear.
Oh, okay.
In a sense, because
so you change them out.
Yeah, good material and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So that's also me. So I feel like I'm always somewhat wearing a
I would
good
have
underwear.
to imagine there can't be anything worse in this world than seeing a guy drop trow and you see like skid marks.
Oh yeah, that's for sure not.
Gagging,
but also like those parachute long ones, I don't get that because there's no support. So I don't get
yeah. Why would you want? Yeah, no. That's.
However, sometimes when I'm really comfortable with my partner, I also have these really like fancy like funny underwear. Like right now, you see, I'm wearing socks that are purple with duckies.
Oh yeah, that's cute.
So sometimes I'll wear those underwear. Like I have an underwear that is a bunch of eggs on it.
Yeah.
And I just think these are fun. So sometimes I'll do that. However, for girls, I mean, yeah.
Side note, I went on a first date with a guy who gifted me, and I still have them. He gifted me elf little underwear. They look like boxers.
That's kind of cute.
Do you want to see them?
Yeah. I thought you were going to drop your pants now. You're like, you want to see them? Then you got up. I was like, my God, is this what we're doing?
They still have the tag on them.
Elves.
Yeah.
They're cute.
And you think I was lying.
These are cute.
I don't lie when it comes to
underwear.
underwear.
The tag's still on. Oh,
Yeah,
MeUndies.
see,
I like
that's
that
what I
brand.
never
Look at
wore
that. They're
them.
so soft, though.
Yeah, they are very
Looks
soft.
awesome.
Yep. So there's that.
So, but then for girls, look, I think as a guy, of course, we appreciate nice lingerie, but I don't think you should down the line through the relationship. I believe it's a lot of work, but I believe that looking sexy and it's always going to keep your sexual life alive for your man.
Yeah.
So like the fact, like, if you're wearing some weird underwear one night, your man might look at you and be like, what the fuck? But wearing what he likes, I think overall.
What if a girl you brought home wore like Fruit of the Loom like diaper like underwear? Like you know what I'm talking about? Like the full coverage
shit. Oh no.
Like a white
So I can't do that. My favorite is literally G-string. Like string down the butt.
Yeah.
That's for me, there's nothing better than that. But then again, I also understand if my partner's like, this shit's not comfortable every day.
It's not.
So I also don't want her to feel like she has to wear that. But having something sexy, like even this, I could be into it if it's, fun on a Sunday night.
Right.
But so yeah, I guess
So
my
it does
answer,
matter.
my answer, I'd say for me, it does matter. Is it a determining factor on whether we're going to fall in love and if this relationship is going to continue? No. But it definitely is greatly appreciated, and it might get things going for sure.
My mother used to always tell me, like, you always have to wear
Yeah, your conservative
You always
parents.
have
I
to
wonder
know.
what rule they put in your head. Like, you let every man chase
No,
you, Jennifer. Your
no.
man needs to chase
No,
you.
my mother used to say, like, always wear a fresh pair of underwear just in case you get into a car accident. You have to go to the hospital.
Mm-hmm. Why?
Because they have to undress you. And like, the last thing you want
is having some dirty stuff.
while they're trying to save your life is noticing some, ratchet-looking
Fair.
drawers. Yeah.
Do you care what the guy wears?
Yeah, I do. You
what's
can't wear the flowy, the big like
Parachute shit like
pants.
the boxers?
No, you can't do that. No.
Yeah.
No, but I also get suspicious of a guy who wears a banana hammock, so I don't like, all that hanging out.
So boxer brief.
Boxer briefs are the classic way to go. Yes.
Yeah. Do you care if it's like a brand versus not a brand?
No, not at all.
No?
Not at all. I rarely pay attention to the brand anyway.
Yeah. I mean, in the end, they're going to come off. So, I understand how people's like, well, what does it matter what I wear? It's going to take them off anywhere.
If they're tattered and they look raggedy, then I'm judging. But,
No, you want to have some
put on
clean...
a nice, clean, fresh pair of drawers. Is that so much to ask?
No, and honestly, Uniqlo, they have some really good ones,
Right.
super cheap. So
Oh, well.
That's,
Uniqlo, are you listening?
Uniqlo. So I guess that's it. I hope I answered your question, Christina.
Yep.
And that's about it. Yeah, if you have more questions, email us, DM us. What else? Pretty much.
We've actually been getting so many questions that we're going to have like a waiting list on the questions, which is great,
we still pick the one that we'll read one and be like, ooh, that one.
Yeah,
Right
exactly.
away, so.
And it always leads to potentially more podcasts. So if you have any ideas for another podcast upcoming that you want us to talk about, let us know.
Exactly. Well, this was fun, and we will see you guys next week.
Bye.